Hi, I'm Milosz Wasilewski, and I'm going to tell a bit about the QA reports, my effort to make the QA team lives easier, and as a side effect, someone may also benefit from it. Hope everyone's here, so if we're okay, we're not waiting for anyone. I started doing that a couple of months ago, and the main reasons for doing that work, as it was basically done as my pet project, it was to unify the way my team is doing reporting. So before that happens, we had the reports scattered all over the place, and there was no single place to get the results from, and the members were asking, and not only the members, like the Linaro guys were also asking to, like, what are the overall results or something like that. So the main goals were to have a single place to check what is the status of the build and what is the status of the tests that run on the build. Then we also ran, before the releases, we were running some manual tests that were basically disconnected from the build status and from the automated test status. So again, I wanted to unify that. Then the reporting took a lot of effort. So for example, before we did the Juno release in June, for Android, it took me 4 days to prepare all the reports. Hopefully, I will get this automated, so it will take 1 click instead of 4 days. And then for the monthly releases, we also prepare the known issues and bugs that go to the release notes that Fatih and Cohen prepare. So that's also something that so far was manual, and hopefully we can get that automated and a bit easier. So the basic idea that I was following is to make the single decision, like when we have a build and test defined, we make a decision, okay, it's green, meaning passed, or it's red, meaning something failed. And the green is when the build gets successful and the tests are submitted to LAVA, and all submitted tests produce results, and all the results that are produced are passed. So if something is not there, so like build is failing, it's red. The test submission goes wrong, it's red. And like a single test fails, it's again red. So we want to get all the tests passing. And this is how the resolution is bad. So this is how it looks like at the moment. So I took the screenshot a couple of days before the Connect started, a week or so. And there was not a single job that was passing all the steps. So it was either the build was failing, like because we have the umbrella builds that Jenkins is doing, so the multiple configs of each build. Or so one config was failing, or the jobs were submitted to LAVA but they failed to boot, or the tests were failing, or something wrong happened basically on the way. So with some jobs we started the work with Naresh, for example, for LSK, to try to clean up all the tests at least, and to have the all tests passing, and the good reason for skipping the test. So if the config is not enabled, skip the test, or like if syslog is not enabled, then we have tested. So for syslog, let's not do it. Yeah, resolution. I'll try to do the demo at the end. Maybe it's a bit better resolution. Then, as I said, one of the goals was to put the manual and automated tests in one place. So for all builds that we test automatically, we get a set of results, whether we pass or fail. And then before the release, we do some testing as a manual testing, mostly for the tests that were either hard to automate, or we want to really make sure it passes. And the implementation of the test that is automated doesn't give us this confidentiality, like confidence. So before I started this effort, we had those results were totally detached. So there was not an easy way to find out which build was tested, and which build was tested manually, which build was tested automatically, and connecting those results was close to impossible. Now I managed to put it all together, and I think Chase is not here, unfortunately, but we did at least reporting for Panda board Ubuntu builds last month using this tool. Sorry. Yeah, we can see that if like at the end. Like there are just a couple of slides to go, and once I have the QA reports done, we have manual tests tied to automated tests and to the build status. So if something goes wrong, then it's like all the data is in one place. Plus, on top of that, we added the defect. So if something goes wrong and one of the testers reports a bug, or there is an existing bug report, we just add this bug report, and then we have a report that what I will show shortly. Like the report says, okay, we have this Lava jobs that produce that results, and we have those manual tests that produce those results, and those are the bugs that we have identified. So our known issues are listed. Okay, that's the screenshot of the report, but doesn't look good. Sorry for that. Let's see. Let's hope it's better live. So as I said, so we have in one place we have the build ID. So this is, if I read correctly, this is one of the pre-built images for Ubuntu, and identified with the build ID. Then we added some manual tests with the test plans that are predefined, and the results are here. Then these results come from Lava.
So is that test plan automated test?
So there is an automated test plan and manual test plan.
But is that like a JSON template, the automated test plan, or is it?
For automated test plan, yes. For manual, we just have basically we had the manual tests written in wiki somewhere. So we basically converted it to the YAML format, which is more or less the same as the automated test, and then you create the test plan by adding those YAML files there, and that's it. I think we can show that. But, yeah. Okay. Like after the. So just make a note that we need to show them. So, as I said, reporting was a pain for me, and not only for me. I hope with QA reports it will be a bit simplified. So there is a way to add like one build or one job to the report, or more than one, and then have all the results aggregated. It covers both manual and automated tests. We can add defects. Defects are added manually at the moment. I don't know the good way of automatically adding the defects. It will be like a miracle, but yeah, no good way of doing that for now. Someone has to just go to the failures and see where's the bug report, or file the bug report and so on. So as I said, reports can be aggregated for more than one build. We can report just one build, or more than one build for one board, for more than one board. That's pretty flexible. And also some additional comments or free text, formatted free text, can be added on top of the report. I think I have a screenshot here somewhere. Yeah, so this is how it looks like. This is this reporting that we did for the last time. So there is some free text here that says, okay, this is the Panda board report, and this report covers the pre-built image, and this is the Jenkins build for it, and this is the hardware pack that the pre-built image was made from. Well, basically this is a free text, so I had to enter it manually, but it summarizes what was tested. Then we have a direct link to the build, some results from Lava, and I think on the next page it's continued. Yeah, some results from Lava, right? We're here. Then those manual tests that I was showing before, and at the very bottom we have some bugs. So the bugs are basically tied to the failed cases in the manual runs or in automated runs, and they are just extracted after that. So we can go by checking the results. We can go and see which one is failing and which bug is responsible for the failure. Okay. And as the last feature that was requested by Amit Kuchiria, so he wanted to have a comparison between the boards. So if we have like several boards running the same build or almost the same build and running the same test, then he wanted to have ability to find, like, compare the results in a table. Okay, this is the board, and the test passes. This is the board, and the test fails. So we have like Arndale, Okta, Beaglebone Black, Panda at the last column. These are the tests, and this is the result. So in this case, all the results are the same. But I can show now. I had to prepare the build properly. I have a case for PMQA running on multiple boards. Hopefully, if the queue cleared before the meeting, and it shows like what happens if the results aren't the same. So there is like a highlight. Yeah, there is something different. And I guess that's the most important piece of the presentation. So the problems that I found. So my approach was wrong so far. I tried to basically copy all the data to my own database and then process it from there, which produced a huge database. So at the moment it's like 2 gigabytes at least, and it's too big to be useful. So I guess I need to either find a way to reduce the number, like the amount of data, or to like pull the data directly from the LAVA database or fix it somehow. So as there is a lot of duplication, so automated tests are pulled from LAVA. So basically there is a copy. So what the only my addition that I added, like the feature that I added, is match between what was scheduled to run and what was actually run, so that I can detect that like one of the test shells didn't produce any results. It's not perfect because well, I was using the relational database, and if there is more than one test shell using the same YAML file from the same repository, I'm losing the results anyway. Then I had to copy all the, clone all the repositories that are used on the jobs. So that also produced some significant amount of data in the database. UI design isn't perfect. I'm not a UI designer. I did it like what I thought it would be good, and it's good like from my perspective. But my guys who are using the QA team, they already found some deficiencies, and I'm trying to fix them. And there are like a bunch of missing features. So like it was requested the email notifications. It's not there. I'm planning to add the email notification like it was requested. So we have subsequent builds of the same from the same job, Jenkins job, and then we have the same test plan run on that, and then we can say, okay, this is the delta. So this test was passing and now it's failing, and something went wrong. Or what Mark requested, like run a bunch of benchmarks, and then we detect, okay, that the score of this benchmark is lower than it was before by this percentage. So we don't actually show the numbers, but we show, okay, this is worse. So something went wrong. Then more complex comparison tables aren't possible at the moment. Tracking of the test case changes, again, what Mark noticed, that we changed the LTP definition, which resulted in changing the number of results generated, and this is something that needs to be tracked somehow. I'm tracking the version change between the, like if the test definitions are stored in Git, I'm tracking that. And this information is available in the database, but it's not yet there in the UI. Yeah.
There's some overlaps.
Yeah, there is a lot of overlap in result, like reading the results. But
What do we see? I think we're going to have separate projects because people are going to want to view the data in their own way. So I think the data export, like what Milosz meant, making it easier to export data out of LAVA. If you want to use R, visualize it, if you want to use test reports, I think that's what we'll do. Forcing it all in the LAVA, I don't think we're going to keep everybody's use case there. So.
Yeah, what I would say is like LAVA doing the testing itself and just providing a good API for results, and that's it. No visualization. So
is it? Can you say that it's that the main point of this is simply to integrate build and test results, build results from Jenkins and test results from LAVA?
Yeah, and plus manual retesting if you do any.
Okay. So I mean, one could make a reasonable argument to say if it is a fixed tool for those specific other systems, why not integrate it into Jenkins or integrate it into LAVA? I mean, that is a reasonable question, I guess.
Yeah, like integrating it to Jenkins might make a lot of sense.
So historically, we said that LAVA was supposed to provide the UI and view. So there's plugins to see the data as you want. And in fact, the problem that we have is that everybody wants his own view, and it's not that trivial to have this inside LAVA. Yeah. So there's some attempt, because we don't know exactly how we can do that. So we want to have some that are available through API, and then everybody can, not everybody, but try to come up with some solution for the visualization of the build result, test result, whatever. So we have some kind of implementation with status that Tyler shown. We have QA reports. We have Jenkins doing some of thing. So basically we try to sort out this problem, trying various approach.
From a system level approach, it's fine if you export an API so people can do customized testing. But if you have a generic need, which I mean, building something and testing it is a rather generic need that everybody would need to say, how did that whole process go, right? And I mean, saying that everybody would just build their own custom view on this feels wrong. It feels like you should be able to build a tool that can actually solve that, if that's your only need, with enough flexibility in there.
So, yeah, I raised that as well with the discussion. I think the conclusion is basically there's going to be a default set of tooling. So the recommend, we'll say the Linaro CI system is Jenkins plus LAVA plus QA reports plus maybe the upstream kernel CI or whatever. You can swap out any of these components if you like, or you can add additional things that talk to them. But so they are separate tools, and the interfaces are kept separate so that you can do that swapping out, and you can do that, write your own thing. It'll definitely be a standard. If you go to test.linaro.org in the future, maybe it will be a set of links to all these different tools, depending which bit you want to look at, and they'll know how to refer to each other.
That's fair enough, but then I think you need to realize that then if you keep that as a separate tool, and that's prime purpose is to integrate build and test, right? That's a clear goal, and then that needs to do that in a flexible enough manner that it's not so that every little team that wants to get that overview actually needs to go and code something.
Right. Yeah, and ideally this will be useful, I guess, useful enough so that nobody really has to do that unless they're doing something really impressively complicated. Right, Milosz?
Yeah. Yeah. The case for kernel CI, right, is, I mean, that might be complicated enough that warrants its own tool, which is a fair argument as well. But.
So as we have these systems where we're storing results in all these different places, I know one big pain point we had in LAVA a couple of years ago was there are a lot of security issues with where bundle streams go, who can view those, and now we're starting to kind of copy portions of those, all these different systems. Are we going to have a problem where all of a sudden, like, we are accidentally leaking performance information or something for some member, and it just seems like we've got these new kind of security vectors where...
That is an issue. So there is no security built in here, no like access control or whatever. And that...
It's not just that. I'm talking like it sounds like there's kind of this view where we don't want to put everything in Lava.
Well,
It's really complicated to control security across any system.
it is.
It's a good thing now. I'm trying to think what performance benchmarking. So we do some sensitive testing, benchmarking, right? Are those going to be? Like I said, they're going to be exported out into this thing. So yeah, I think it's a very good concern, Andy, that we need to probably address this. How are we going to secure the data? Do we keep it in a central location? Is that Lava, and then we just add the APIs that are secure enough that we could transfer around? It's a question we probably need to think of sooner than later.
Yeah. Well, I'm already trying to think about it with respect to query reports. There's like no good solution so far.
But the argument about that would be an argument to keep everything in Lava, right? I think what you were getting at before is also that if you keep everything in Lava and say that Lava should do all your reporting for you, you're just asking too much of Lava, it seems, right? I mean, it seems like Lava should be a dispatcher and it does that well. But if you start saying you want to build everything into Lava, it just becomes a too huge, unmaintainable tool with multiple purposes, right?
And that's kind of what we're doing, repacking the dispatcher, because it's grown organic like that. So we're trying to separate the pieces out so it's clear what each piece does, and that you don't have to go and deal with Lava. Now, we have UI issues with Lava that we should probably fix, and it's good to have your feedback. But really, should you even know that the board boots in Lava and runs tests in Lava? Should you be an expert at Lava, or should you just be able to go to a website where you can simply just get that? Now, going to having the Lava server extension where it displays it. Yeah, but I feel like we're bolting too much stuff onto Lava, and it's not going to be good at anything. It's kind of just going to be this general purpose, like what Image Reports 2.0 is now. There's some things that it's good at, but it's not really great at visualizing certain things. And so we're constantly changing it, but I don't think we're really getting to the point where, like, QA reports, we're not getting that kind of depth. We're not getting the trends, right? And so I'm of the opinion that we should try to separate those just because I think we can do better at each piece. If we're good at doing the automation and running the tests and being reliable and producing the results, and then we have another framework which is really good at visualizing, and everybody says, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. I want to know if the build fails. I want to know the test results, and I want to see them over time, and I want to be able to do that. Then that's a good starting point. Now, maybe later on down the road, we merge them in together when it makes sense, when everybody's happy. But for these kind of prototypes, I think it's good to keep the pieces separated. Just so
you don't use that an excuse to keep Lava completely arcane.
Yeah, exactly. I think the problem is we have these issues with board reliability and the hardware that we need to address, and we need to be able to run the tests robustly first. But we also need the ability to view the results as well and get value out of it, like your use case. So this is the only way I see forward without trying to go in a million different directions, trying to fix the problems that every single team has. Whereas I think this is more of a general solution for the teams to get the value quicker and then.
Yeah, sorry.
No, so the only question I can keep coming back to is just that I think I seem to hear from most other companies with Jenkins installations that they pull the test result information back into Jenkins. Instead of doing it in Lava, right? They do it in Jenkins. So my question is, why are we building a separate tool then? So we covered why we're not doing it in Lava, but now why we're not doing it in Jenkins?
We are trying. Yeah. So we know exactly what the goal is, and we know what we don't know is how to implement properly things. So there's various approaches, competing, obviously, until we find the proper way to get the.
You realize we're wrong.
No. The thing is that we have some experience, and basically the one-fit-all view doesn't work. One view fit all doesn't work. We need to find a way that it's easy to customize your view. So without passing alpha data to do some configuration or creating all this specific view is not easy. Your use case is just one part. Milosz is trying to do something generic, but most likely it's not going to work from a kernel point of view. And
talking about a simple case here that we're integrating build.
yeah, I don't know what to say for this one. Basically,
If you're doing that at Jenkins, and he's also doing that at QA, and you're doing it competing, and then you're both building it and then seeing which result ends up being the best result. That does not sound
No.
good use of our resources.
there's technical issues that we are not sure that how maintainable is to do it in Jenkins, how maintainable is to do it in QA report. How is it going to affect Lava, all this data mining remotely with using all the remote API? Simply, we don't know. So we need to try various approaches to do that.
More or less spikes, right? We're investigating a solution to the problem. And if we find that everybody can agree that this is the solution we want, then we can roll this into it. But it's faster to prototype it outside of these tools. Because we have monthly releases, right? We got to make sure it's QA, and to add all those features and try to put that in there, and we're not really sure what we want anyways. It seems like, I get what you're saying, it seems like a waste of time to be doing all these different things. But these are agile programs where the development we're doing with LAVA and Jenkins is a lot slower. So to get what you want and to understand your requirements of how you want to do your data, how you want how you want to see your CI and stacks, I think these are more agile approaches because they're quick. We can easily modify them once I do, bundle stream, or the format of LAVA. Right?
I'm not saying that that you shouldn't be doing this. If the response is, well, this is simple, it's trivial, it's fast, and we're going to do great things with it, and we're not going to do the Jenkins thing because that's really hard, and we looked into it, and here's why, that's fine, right? If you have a proper response for that. But if you're saying we're building code because we can't figure out which one is the best one, we'll see when we build code, which one is the best, and why not build 10? I mean, that's not fair criticism. I mean, we don't have the resources. You guys are busy guys who have a lot of stuff to do. That's my question.
We do 3 because we have 3 possible approaches on the tool that we have at hand.
Okay, well, I'm gonna. Yeah.
We have Jenkins, it's build system, it's there, and it's not going to change. We have Lava, it's not going to change. And it can be done at Lava level, it could be done at Jenkins level, so we have tried the Lava approach. I'm going to verify if it's possible to do it in Jenkins, and we have the third option, which is a completely external tool, QA reports, who is going to do the data mining. And then we are going to compare the results. Investigation approach. I don't know how we can be differently.
Well, it's an investigative approach, totally fine, but it sounded to me like you were building multiple systems at the same time.
These are prototype systems. And really what we want to flesh out here is this what you want to see? Is QA report, is this view going to fit your use case? When you go to the lake and say, is this going to fit your use case?
Right, but let's just agree that you can mock up a UI a lot quicker than building a real system.
Exactly, yes. We can agree on that.
Yeah, but then if you just mock up the UI, then you probably don't run into the problems that I run into.
So that's a system design issue. Okay, that's another argument. That's not a counter argument. Sorry, I didn't use hijack.
It's all right. It's okay. This one switched off. Battery died. Battery died. Okay. That's as I promised, one more comparison view of the PMQA runs on Panda and Arndale. Like the other jobs are still waiting in the queue. We have 400 jobs on TC2, for example, in the queue at the moment. So these rows are different color. You have to believe me. And there is a small triangle with exclamation mark on the right-hand side if the results are different. So it's like skept on pandas and passes on Arndale. There is mark that is different. So this can be done for any tests that we have. I tried for LTP. Like the table is huge, but it also shows up. So.
Yes, so comparison feature is interesting. Is it built into a report, or is it a custom development that you have done? It's a new feature that you have developed for QA reports.
It's a QA report. But is it built into?
I think QA reports is an existing tool, right?
No.
No, it's right.
Like the one that I was trying last time from this Finnish company. No, it didn't work. No,
okay, so it's
it's like a totally new one.
okay.
So that one, it was written in Ruby. I have no clue how to change stuff there, and it was basically hanging and causing out of memory on the EC2 instances. Like I just deleted it. I didn't know how to deal with that.
This is all going back.
Sorry?
What backend is this one?
It's on Django. There are no more questions. Thanks, guys. So, any questions, any concerns? And we have a session, as Tyler said, at 5 p.m. that we'll discuss how to go from here.
Who owns this, basically?
Me.
You, and you're the only developer on it?
Yes.
Okay, and you have a lot of other things to do, right?
Yes.
Okay, so how is sort of up the food chain? How are people viewing this in Linaro? Are people going to be dedicating more resources to it? What's the priority?
I'd love to know. I have no idea.
Great. Okay, thanks.
Augustine, any answer to that?
Well, first, thank you for the work, because it's been challenging for you. Thank you. Yes, we are discussing this. The first step is we need to have a clear plan of what needs to be done. We are starting to talk about requirements, describing the pieces. We have a kind of to-do for this connect to put all the pieces together. And then the directors will sit down with Mark to talk about resourcing. So we've been here before, from what I understand. So I think that the key point will be that resourcing discussion.
So what's the time frame for that?
ASAP is the instruction I got.
So, very practical question. If I wanted this by the end of the year, how many people do you need to hire?
I would say at least one, full time.
We also probably need a UI designer, right? So it's not just about people; it's also about skills.
But if it's one, it has to be proper one.
Yeah, that's the feeling.
What do you base that on?
Experience. Yeah, it took me around five working weeks to go as far as this one altogether. I started like in June, maybe, or May.
So right now, I mean, immediate objective is, is this helping you generate the reports that you need to generate for monthly?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Okay.
So basically, we don't have to do the same work a couple of times. So once the guys are doing testing, they report the results here. When during the testing, they report the bugs here, and then with one click, we get the report like known issues, the total summary of the results, and so on. Before that, we had to copy paste all this information a couple of times.
Right, right. I mean, from my perspective at least, you know, I get a question. What is going on with the 14.08 LSK? What are the test results for the 14.08 LSK?
Yeah.
Is a common question that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So even if it helps you like present to a person like me so that I can go and explain to our member in a single place, that pretty much solves a lot of my problems, right?
Sure.
I think the upstream from the ISO more towards that.
Upstream kernel, well, the first session that we
For
talked
the
about.
upstream kernel, I tried. So for the moment, like the data model that I have for the upstream kernel doesn't work. It basically kills the processor out of memory. Too much data.
It's just that getting a broad understanding of the state of a kernel is a wider question than integrating a build result and a test result. So I completely recognize that you have that need, and you should have that. And I think this looks like an extremely important tool for the QA team, right? It's just that if you want to know what's the status of LSK 14.08, which boards does boot on, which multi-configs is run on, which tests run on there, and which succeed, well, that whole full picture is the only answer that can give you is LSK something you can trust or not, right? So, and that's what that tool was designed to target, right? So I think it's reasonable to say that those are simply two needs. But I think it's pretty clear we have to figure out which tools we're going to use for which jobs.
And really, we need to just get a prototype going where we can agree on this is what we want, right? I don't think anybody has a clear idea of, well, everybody has an idea and they have an opinion of what they want, but I think we need to agree on the format of how we want the results reported, so that then we say, okay, we have these projects, now where do we go from here, right? Do we combine them into one that makes sense for everything? We need to get to that point where everybody's happy with the results they're getting, and then we make that step, because then we make the right step.
As an end user, I don't care if it's two systems or one system. So that discussion was just trying to understand what you guys were doing and sort of, you know, food for thought. That was the only thing, right? I couldn't care less. If there's one way I can figure out if the kernel works or not, I'm totally happy, right?
Well, so I'm kind of stuck on 2 screens back on there where you had the results comparison. Just kind of a larger question I have. So have you and Tyler been talking about, like, so that results comparison feature basically is in Lava already. So is it to prioritize time and like what we're working on this? Would it be better just to jump into the like make this to where it can jump into Lava where our features are already done and the data is already modeled out, or is it just too hard to be able to jump back and forth?
I tried. It's not that easy to get it from Lava.
Yeah.
Build the data down to something that actually makes sense. It requires a lot of, and you can test that for them. They really took everything and tried to put it in Lava. It does work, but to make stuff happen, maintaining these reports to update them, it becomes a lot of it. Now, we could improve that. We probably want to figure out exactly how we want that data to look. Because then we can say, everybody agrees on how we want these presented, and here's the way we can change these tools to make sure that properly. So.
Yeah, I guess I was just kind of wondering. I mean, I know that result comparison is a pain, so I didn't know, like, was it just such a pain to define all those, is it filters or whatever? He had to define 1,000 of them. It's just easier to build it in that tool. Okay.
I actually did this. I mean, use Lava in first stage to try to track all this work. And then we had definitions that were big on the LKE, right? Which required another filter in its own, and it's like, you have a copy filter that makes it a little easier. But still, it's a little easy. So until you figure out what the end user wants, everything will work backwards. I think that's the only way to kind of unify everything. Read useful data in this I can go to the dashboard and regular users who don't know anything about Jenkins, or otherwise look at results and make inferences about what it says that's on.
Yeah, like we're running out of time now.
I mean, how much information are you getting from our members? You know, what is the channel right now?
They're building their own tools above Lava. Back before I came to Linaro, that's what we did, because we realized it wasn't all there in Lava, but the data, just being able to get it out was what we wanted. So we actually took the bundle out of Lava, converted it to JUnit, and display it as developer testing in Jenkins, right? So we had a conversion tool that would take bundle Jenkins. So what I find is that people are building stuff like this inside now. More or less, that's what we're doing. We're trying to define what it is to say, this is a CI report, this is a CI, this is the output of the CI report. These results tell you something about how your software is doing. We don't really get that feedback from members. So we have to use internal in our customers here to drive that.
Okay. Thanks for participating.